He's a tier 1, the guy that... I don't know who Mr. Anime is, but that's what I thought the story was. Man, I haven't thought about this story in a long time. What a fucking wild, sad event. Mr. Anime was one of the first and biggest anime YouTubers. He killed his whole family. What? Hold on. I don't know. That seems a little heavy. I don't know if that's something I'd want to watch. Like, at least with the Glico Morinaga thing, no one was injured. Well, except for the guy who lit himself on fire out of shame for not being able to catch them. Okay, I'm too interested by the story. I'm gonna check it out. I'm sure they don't show anything.
A YouTuber on the rise, driven to murder. An entire family gunned down in cold blood and a sinister plot to take the lives of at least 70 more.
What?
On today's episode of Morbid Reality, we document the rise and fall of Trey Sessler, better known by the internet as Mr. Anime. Trey Eric Sessler was born on August 8, 1989, to a loving family comprised of his mother Rhonda, father Lawton Ray, and a single older brother named Mark. As Trey grew older, he soon realized that he had a passion for film, and it's this very love for the craft that led to the eventual creation of his YouTube channel Lenscap Productions in September of 2006.
That sounds familiar.
There,
Lenscap
Trey posted
Productions.
numerous short films and skits, some even featuring his mother and brother. It was precisely a year and 5 days later that Trey announced he would begin shifting his channel's primary focus to another passion of his: animation. Specifically of the Japanese variety. From this day on, Trey Sessler would be known as Mr. Anime, one of the founding members of the anime reviewing community on YouTube, and according to many, an inspiration for similar channels to come. It's during this period when a third passion of Trey's became apparent: his love of firearms. Over the next 5 years,
this was a big gun guy?
Review, discussing everything he knew and loved about anime, while also occasionally uploading gun-themed skits and even a few weapons demonstration videos.
This does not look like the kind of guy that would be obsessed with guns.
Fan base. Sure, he may have been a weapons enthusiast.
Not even wearing a ball cap, no pickup truck.
The gun violence in a 2009 rant video in which he discussed the media buzz surrounding mass shootings that were taking place in the US at the time.
Hey everybody, Season 2 here, and today I'm ranting on something a little bit... Right? Yes, I'm ranting on something a little bit anime unrelated. I'm ranting on all the shootings that have been
happening. Boo! No anime, no interest.
Myself, but it is a little bit disturbing to know that you could be a victim in something like this at these times. All the people that were victims, you think it won't happen to me, but sometimes it does. But seriously, every day I open Yahoo, I'm like, well, time to see what today's shooting is, and hey, there's another one. So I don't know when it's gonna stop. I think it's why, but what can I say?
On May 13th of 2012, Trey uploaded a video titled Mr. Anime's New Job. In it, he details how he just found full-time employment for an unnamed production company, thanks to the work
Is this channel still up? Because I can't imagine it had these dislikes back then.
He also reassured his audience that while uploads may be slowing down, that the channel was in great health and that he had no plans of quitting YouTube anytime soon. This, unbeknownst to Trey and his fans alike, would be the last time he was seen on camera as a free man. Just 1 week following Trey's update, horrifying accusations sent shockwaves throughout YouTube's anime community.
That's gotta be tough.
If you haven't heard, Trey Sessler, aka Mr. Anime, has been arrested for suspicion of, well, he's been arrested and charged with murdering and shooting and murdering his mother, his father, and
That's gotta
his
be
brother.
tough, man.
It turns out that in the
But I'm sure they weren't, like,
hours of
super
March
close if
20th,
he uploaded a video
2012,
talking about
Trey
it, right?
Sessler had snapped. The murder spree began with Trey's mother, whom he lured to the garage before mercilessly firing into her chest 4 times, causing her to collapse in front of him. From inside the house, Trey's brother Mark began to call out, complaining about the noise. It's then when Trey swiftly made his way back
Fucking
into the
crazy.
home, passing his brother in the hallway before re-emerging from his room with a different gun and delivering 2 shots. Mark, although wounded, managed to crawl into the nearby bathroom and to lock the door as Trey began to make his way to their parents' bedroom.
Oh, pretty
Their
bad time for a
barely
raid,
conscious father
Atrioc.
had
This
been
is a
arrested.
fucked up
After
story.
shooting his father twice, Trey
Uh-oh.
decided to retrace his
You've come.
steps, later admitting to
The door.
Maybe we switch for a minute.
Shall open.
Yeah, this story's kind of like actually fucked
I've
up.
been waiting for you, friends.
Exited Prime, I am got it. Really appreciate the raid again, man. Unfortunate timing. We were learning about an anime reviewer turned murderer. Probably a far cry from what you were just experiencing. Yeah, this shit is heavy. We're all big boys and girls here. We can learn a little.
police that
This
he
shit is
wanted to
nuts.
ensure that his family was in fact dead and that no one was suffering from their injuries. Trey then broke down the bathroom door and delivered the final blows to his brother, who had been curled up on the floor in the fetal position. Shortly after the killings, Trey continued his rampage, tearing the house apart piece by piece and scribbling apology letters on the walls and doors, one of which read,
What
"Why
the
did I do this?
fuck?
I love my mom, dad, and brother." Police were later sent over
What
to the
happened?
Sessler residence by concerned
Did the monster with
relatives,
21
and
faces
soon
use him like a
discovered the
fleshlight or
family's
something?
corpses. Trey, however, was nowhere to be found. Later that day, Trey was finally located and arrested, and it's then that even more disturbing details began to emerge. According to Trey himself, he'd been plotting a mass murder, claiming that he had plans to open fire on his old high school campus,
Holy
possibly
shit.
during a homecoming event. Other versions of his plan
Here's the tier
included
1
running
meat.
a car into the school's
Prime lean
cafeteria
and boyo.
or opening fire on a local festival that took place each year. Trey began to explain to officers that he had thought about these plans in great detail, and even studied the crimes of past mass murders to piece together his own perfect plan, a foolproof plot to take out as many as he possibly could, with an ultimate goal of ending at least 70 lives. He noted how each mass murder had their strengths and weaknesses, even going as far as to organize a detailed rating system based on effectiveness,
This guy made a tier
weapons
list for it?
used, and the total number of victims killed. It's because of this plan, Trey noted, that his family had to be killed. That way, they wouldn't have the burden of shame brought about by his actions. Just a few hours after killing his family,
Jesus.
Trey found himself in the parking lot of nearby Wallace Junior High School, armed with an assault rifle and hundreds of rounds. This, as he put it in a later interview, was his opportunity to carry out what he had been planning for so long. Trey, however, ultimately didn't go through with his plan, later telling police it was because everything had gotten, quote, too real. Although Trey had been planning to commit mass murder for quite some time, the slaying of his family, however, seemed almost completely unplanned.
Thanks, Resub Laser
When
and Prime
questioned by
Solzar.
police
Give some
about
Josh.
whether or not Trey had
Resub
an argument
Panda.
of sorts at home
Manny.
before the killings, Trey said, "If I would have woken up that
Fuck,
day
man.
and you would have come to me and asked, 'Are you going to kill your family tonight?' I would have definitely said no." So far, no real motive has been established, and Trey has since pleaded guilty to his crimes and is currently serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole.
And the possibility
He's
of
noted many
anime.
times how he'll never be able to forgive himself for his actions, and how he feels as though he deserves to be behind bars. Before this video ends, I'd like to
Jesus
give a huge
Christ.
thank you to each and every one of my patrons.
Holy
As you
shit.
probably already
Mr. Anime. I don't know if I ever watched that shit. I used to be big into watching anime reviews, like back in I don't know. I mean, I still watch anime reviews, but I used to watch a fucking ton of them back in I don't know, 2012, 2013. I don't know if I ever watched his shit, though. Yeah, that was fucking nuts, man. Yeah, I'm assuming his channel's still up, judging by the likes and dislike ratios that she was showcasing. I imagine that the channel wasn't taken down, but I still don't want to look at it. Yeah, it was a far cry from the Glico Morinaga incident, which was mainly just like an actual goofy anime episode. Well, I keep saying that, and that's pretty disrespectful considering the lead detective lit himself on fire, but everything up until that point was just kind of goofy.